And let me see here. Make a left turn at that guy with the glasses. Go east from 4chan. Then think of something funky when you reach the singing bush. From the... I swear, they make these instructions hard to follow on purpose. Now, where am I? Certainly doesn't look like the EQD or any help page I'm aware of.
Oof,
I'm sorry there.
it's okay. Say, I haven't seen you around before. You new to the Brony community?
Yeah, new to trying out analyzing anyways. Name's AJ, but I go by the Autistic pony. You wouldn't have to know where I can find Equestria Daily or something.
Equestria Daily, huh? No offense, but you'll never get anywhere with Equestria Daily or the analytical community without the ability to move.
None taken. It's not like it's untrue anyways. Believe me, I've been having nothing but problems from day one. It's not one thing, it's another. First I figure out how to use texted videos, then I find out I get the wrong program, and then something else happens. I don't suppose you could help me out.
No problem. Helping a friend in need is what I do best. So, I'll fly you there.
What do I got to lose? Sounds fun. Let's get a move on.
Whee!
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, cool. Oh, you are amazing. Hey, don't suppose there's any way I can repay you.
Well, I was going to review a Season 4 episode to pass the time for Season 5 to come around eventually. Would you like to do it together?
Sure thing, but, say, I could be wrong here, but you don't happen to have autism as well, do you? I thought I read it on your profile page, but, I've been wrong before.
Yes, I have autism. Asperger's syndrome to be exact.
You don't say. Same here. Well, in any case, I know it might be out of order, but I don't suppose you'd be up to doing fight to the finish. It's one of my personal favorite episodes. I've always wanted to talk about it with another person with Asperger's syndrome.
Oh, I love that episode too. In fact, it is one of my favorite episodes.
Then it's settled then. Let's get started before we start going over the length most viewers click away from.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Hey everypony, Rosepal here. Welcome to a special episode of Brony Culture Stories, the show where I talk about everything My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Today I have a special guest to help me review the Season 4 episode Flight to the Finish. He is recently new to the fandom and he is one of my new subscribers. Please welcome AJ, aka the Autistic Brony.
It's a pony, but hey, tomato, tomato.
Tomato!
Anyways, yes, we are here to look at an episode that holds a special place in my heart. Flight to the Finish. Now, going into this episode from what we got at the Comic-Con Season 4 panel, I was really excited for the concept of this episode. It was always hinted at that Scootaloo couldn't fly, but the writers never called it out because, well, it's being a kid's show, something about them fear of overstepping boundaries, yada yada yada, angry parent letter phobia. So, when I saw this clip and found the date it was coming out, I was both really thrilled and really nervous that the writers were going to attempt an episode like this. What about you, Rose? What thoughts do you have going into this episode and the whole Scootaloo disability thing?
Well, when I first saw the animatics for the episode, I was really excited to see how it would turn out. Now, when I knew it was going to focus on Scootaloo's struggles to fly, this was going to be an episode that reflects on the theme of disability so perfectly. So, let's start reviewing the episode. The episode starts when the CMC and the other fillies get a visit from Rainbow Dash and Miss Harshwinnie.
Ah, Miss Harshwinnie. Don't know why, but she reminds me of my third grade special ed teacher for some reason.
That's a good one. Anyways, she explains to the students about the upcoming competition to be the pony for flag bearers at the Equestria Games being held at the Crystal Empire. This was obviously the continuity of the Equestria Games arc from Games Ponies Play back in Season 3. The CMC decide to participate in the competition after an inspiring speech from Rainbow Dash. Then they get the usual teasing from Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon for being blank flanks.
Ah, yes, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon. It's kind of a weird love and hate between these too, for me. As a kid with autism spectrum disorder, I get picked on a lot by bullies like these two. Yet, strangely enough, through the conflict, much like the CMC, I see a stronger person out of it by standing up to people like these and make a bunch of good friends out of it. Does this make any sense to you, Rose?
Yes, I understand how you feel completely. I used to get bullied at school because of my Asperger's syndrome, but throughout the years, I have met loads of people who had the similar diagnosis like I have, and you're here today. And if it weren't for them and my family, I wouldn't have graduated from my university.
Yes, indeed. And we see the CMC, particularly Scootaloo, get hit by one of Diamond Tiara's worst possible blows to date. Now, normally I wouldn't get upset over what these two do, but here they really think to a new low, not just for them, but for anybody of any age.
Girls, we just wanted to say your act is quite impressive. Wait, what? Thanks? Oh, but of course, as a matter of fact, we think you're very brave. Brave? Why? Isn't it obvious? It is to us. In fact, it's obvious to every pony. You're showing all 3 types of Ponyville ponies, yet you have a Pegasus pony who can't even fly! What in tarnation does that have to do with anything? I'd say not being able to fly has everything to do with everything, doesn't it? I mean, a Pegasus pony at your age? You should have been flying long ago. So what if my wings can't get me off the ground? Your career as a flag carrier isn't getting off the ground either. Miss Harshwinny will never pick a Pegasus pony who can't fly to represent Ponyville in front of all of Equestria. Miss Harshwinny never said anything about that. I would have thought that was obvious. Well, have fun practicing anyway. Even if your routine will never, how shall I say, take off.
This is where the main conflict takes place. After showing their practice performance at their entry to Rainbow Dash, while she tries to remain professional for Miss Harshwinny, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon pretend to be impressed by the performance. That is until Diamond Tiara really brings Scootaloo down for her wings, as she can't fly yet. Now this is why I hate Diamond Tiara so much, despite what Give and Take says. She is a filly who acts like a spoiled brat, and she teases the CMC, and she is portrayed as the popular filly who wants to get what she wants. This episode was her lowest as a
Well, I don't hate her on the same level you clearly do. I still have to admit that Diamond Tiara is one of the worst tropes of the rich brat bully I've seen anywhere. Unfortunately, with those hurtful words in Scootaloo's head, she convinces herself that the only way to win is to overcome her disability in one night, which causes both Applebloom and Sweetibelle to think that Diamond Tiara's hurtful comments are taken too seriously. However, because this teasing is aimed at more of a disability rather than just something that every fall her age goes through, it's much more understandable why Scootaloo would take it more personally. I can certainly relate and understand her frustration. It does suck to have some sort of handicap, whether it be a mental or physical type. That makes life harder than it already is, especially when you don't have something that others take for granted. To be called on something like that can really mess with someone. So much so in Scootaloo's case in this episode that she ends up working herself and her friends into the night.
Then the next day, the CMC have a little argument as the competition draws near. Both Applebloom and Sweetibelle finally admit to Scootaloo that they had enough, and they aboard the train to the Crystal Empire, leaving Scootaloo behind to wallow in his self-pity. Rainbow Dash asks them where she is, and they race both back to Ponyville to find her. This is where we see Scootaloo in her house, as she is distraught over her failure.
Yes, a wonderful display of show don't tell, but I'm not going to dwell on this since, well, everyone else already has. Instead, what I do want to focus on is the message shown here in this scene.
But Rainbow Dash, what if my wings never grow? What if I never fly?
Listen, Scootaloo, maybe you'll fly someday, or maybe you won't. You're all kinds of awesome anyway.
Now, this is where I think this episode goes, for me at least, from the best episode in the show to one of my favorite episodes and scenes anywhere, and that includes adult media. Instead of going the route where Scootaloo does overcome her disability at the end of the episode, or even a route where she accepts that she has to live with it her whole life, the episode leaves what's going to happen to her open. Maybe she will fly one day, maybe she won't. But in the end, it doesn't matter whether or not she does learn how to fly or not. Because in the end, it's not her disability or the lack of one that makes her special. It's because of who she is that makes her special, and nothing will ever change that.
This is why I love this episode. The message here applies to me, you, and everyone who has Asperger's or any type of disability to play their part in any project they can take on, despite the differences. With us standing together, as well as the other brilliance in the fandom, we can make a difference. The song Hearts as Strong as Horses showed a great sense of camaraderie and determination to reflect the CMC's destiny of finding their cutie marks, which will rise in the seasons to come. And this is why MLP is an amazing show to watch for people with Asperger's and others, including newcomers to the fandom.
Yeah, pretty much what she said. And this is why, whenever someone asks me about the show and why I watch it, I'll point to them to this particular episode and tell them, replace Scootaloo's inability to fly with whatever type of handicap or disability they might have, but they'll understand why I love this show so much. It's a show that can not only appeal to people like me and Rose, but to anyone who has ever had to struggle with something that holds them back or makes them different. Thanks again for helping me out, Rose, and it was a blast reviewing this episode with you. Don't suppose we could do this again sometime?
You're welcome, AJ. I'd love to do another color with you in the future. I'm just glad to have you aboard. In fact, I'm going to take what we discussed today to my friend Dr. Wolf for his session. He would be interested in hearing what we discussed today. What do you think?
Dr. Wolf, eh? Yeah, sure thing. I'm a huge fan of his. Don't suppose you can help me get out of the waiting line for the waiting line to get into his waiting line for a moment with him? I have a lot of issues I'd like to discuss with him.
I'm sure whatever topic you like to discuss with him, I am certain he would like to speak with you. I'll ask him when I see him in the future.
Awesome. Now, that takes care of about an eighth of my bucket list before I turn 35. Now, only 7 states to go. Thanks again, Rose. But now I need to go work on my next video on my own channel, if I'm ever going to make it one day. If only I can figure out what goes on in the pink one's mind. Until then, I'm the Autistic Pony.
And this is Rosepal saying, see you later, every pony.
Alright then, now to get out of here. Let's test those new powers of mine.
Powers?
Yeah, I think your little magic that gave me animation also gave me magic powers. Let's see here. Ooh, I feel something. Alright then. Teleportation powers to Equestria Daily's or Kim Possible's homepage. Go!
I'm sure with some training he'll get there eventually. Let's see if Celestial or maybe any of my friends in the Rift can teach him to control his magic. Oh well, he seems like a nice guy. See you later, everyone.